Hello everyone, this is Sangeeta. Welcome back to my channel, Green Fingers. My favorite foliage is philodendron. It has always been philodendron for quite a number of reasons. The main reason being that it suits this place. Philodendrons suit my house, this climate, this atmosphere, this humidity, and it is very easy for me to take care of philodendron at home. This plant that we have got here is Philodendron erubescens, or the red emerald. The name definitely has come from these beautiful red color leaves that it has got. As you all know, philodendrons are climbers. It climbs. The smaller version, it trails, or the bigger leaves, it climbs to trees. Whatever pole, whatever you have, it climbs to that. It loves to climb. So that is the reason why we have put this pole. This is a PVC pipe. I don't know whether you can see it. It is a PVC pipe covered with sphagnum moss. So we have taken a PVC pipe of around 4 feet length, 3.5 to 4 feet in length, and we have covered it with sphagnum moss, and we have tied it securely, the moss, with fishing line. So that is how we have made this pole. This is the support for this plant, and we have kept the plant around this pole. So now see, this plant is almost in this pot for the past 6 months, and it has grown halfway through. This plant is stuck to this pole, this support system that we have given. Just see that this plant is stuck. You can't take the plant out. It is stuck. So it likes to climb here. And when we water this plant, we water this pole also. And since it is sphagnum moss, what happens is this absorbs a lot of water. So as you all know that philodendrons are tropical plants. It loves good moisture. So when it sees moisture, it will climb on this. The roots will get attached to it, and it will get stuck to this pole, and it will climb on this. So that is why we have given this support system. Without support also you can grow it. The same plant is growing here without support, but it will not go straight. After a while, this plant will start trailing down. It is already it's trailing, and it will droop down. So in case if you want to keep it in a higher platform, you can do this. You can keep this plant without a support, and after a while the plant will start growing down. So that depends on where you're keeping this plant. If you're keeping it indoors, if you're keeping it in a higher platform inside, on top of a cupboard or something like that, then you can think of growing it like this, where the plant will trail down. So that is about this red emerald plant. And when we talk about the medium use that we use for this particular foliage, it is a normal mixture. The medium is normal mixture which consists of river sand, garden soil, some amount of cow dung manure, and you mix all this, and your medium is ready. If you do not have river sand with you, then you can add perlite or vermiculate to it, so that your medium becomes a little airy, so that the roots can grow fast. This has strong roots, so it doesn't matter if the medium is slightly sticky. Also, it doesn't matter, but make sure that when you water this plant, the water doesn't accumulate with the medium. When you water it, the water should drain immediately. That is there with all the foliages. When you water this plant, the water should drain out immediately. Even though it likes moisture, make sure that the water drains from your pot, from your medium, immediately when you after you finish watering the plant. The first comment that I am going to read is from Rupali Shinde. She has put a comment under our spider plant video. She says, "Your love for plants is really encouraging me, and your knowledge is recommendable. Saving nature and taking care of it is everyone's responsibility, and you are playing vital role in helping others to keep their plants green. Thank you. Thank you, Rupali, for your lovely comment. When it comes to watering, philodendron is a plant that lives in the tropical weather, as I've told you. So it likes lot of moisture. It needs water basically. So I water it almost every day or every alternate day. During summers I water it regularly, daily I water it. But during spring, during rainy season, we have a lot of monsoon in the southern part of India. So because of that, we can afford not to water it daily during monsoon time. Monsoon time, I water it once in 2 or 3 days. That's more than enough. You just check the medium. Put your finger inside and check. If the medium is sticking to your hand, then that means it is time to, it is moist. If it is not sticking to your hand, it means that it is time to water it. So that is how you check the medium for watering. So if the top portion of the soil is dry, then you water it immediately. And one most important thing with philodendron is that when you water the plant, you make sure that you are splashing water on the leaves and on these roots that are growing, because this plant has got roots everywhere. So when you propagate also, that's what we do. We see if there is a root, we cut the plant there and we can divide the plant. So like that, you can see the roots will grow here. See, the roots will start growing. It will start sticking to the plant. All these roots have got stuck to the plant, and it grows inside this sphagnum moss. So all these roots require water. So when you water it, make sure that you don't water only the medium. You just splash water all over the leaf and all over the plant. So that's about watering. When it comes to fertilizing these plants, you can fertilize it once in a month or once in 2 months. That is more than enough. Any organic fertilizer is good enough for this plant. You can use cow dung slurry, as I always tell you. That is my favorite fertilizer, organic fertilizer. Use cow dung slurry, or you can use vermicompost. When you add, just make sure that you mix it well. Or if you're adding slurry, you can just pour it on the medium. Or if you're adding vermicompost, just make sure you move the soil, you mix the compost well with your medium. So these are the organic fertilizers that I use. You can use chemical fertilizers as well. Any NPK mixture can be used. You can spray it, or if the plant is small, like if it is Brazil philodendron, or if it's a smaller philodendrons, then you can just spray fertilize it. That is also good enough fertilizer. Chemical fertilizer, any NPK fertilizer, once in a month is good enough fertilizing for philodendrons. When we talk about the light requirement of philodendrons, philodendrons doesn't require direct sunlight. It doesn't require sunlight, bright light at all. It's always advisable to keep philodendrons under any shade. It can be a green net, it can be indoors. You can keep this plant as an indoor plant. It's a beautiful indoor plant. You can keep it indoors next to a windowsill, or you can keep it under any shade in your portico, anything like that. Direct sunlight should not fall on your plant. If direct light falls on the plant, what happens is the leaves gets spoiled, it gets burned. You can see some of the leaves. For example, this leaf here, you can see these yellow spots on the leaf. These spots are because of the sunlight directly falling on the leaf. So these kind of sunburns can be avoided by not keeping this plant under direct sunlight. This philodendron here is called moonlight philodendron because of the color of the leaf. The leaves are a brighter green, so that's why I think the name. When we talk about propagating philodendrons, the most important thing is that you cut the plant and you propagate. When you cut the plant, you make sure that it has got roots. For instance, when you're propagating this plant, see that there are roots here. So you can cut this plant here so that these 2-3 roots is good enough for the plant to survive, for the propagated new portion of the plant to survive. So that is how you propagate it. I'll show you how do we propagate a philodendron. I'll cut a plant and I'll show you how do you propagate a philodendron. It's very easy. You can just divide the plant. When the plant grows, you can just cut it. Make sure that each portion that you cut has got roots, and that is enough. You just put it on soil and the new new growth will start growing from that above the stem. So that is how you propagate a philodendron. Next comment is from Yoni Amos. Says, please tell us when your love for plants started. Who was your influence? The love for plants started from the time I was born, because my parents were totally into gardening from the time they got married. They started their gardening from 1975 and it's still going on. And my mother is the one who takes care of all the plants now, and I also help her in doing that. And they are my influence. Philodendrons are basically they're rapid climbers. So and it loves temperatures between 20 to 30 degrees. That is the ideal temperature that is required for philodendrons. But here in my place, we have temperature from 25 degrees to 38 degrees in summer, but still it grows very well here. So that means this is a plant that can survive in higher temperature as well. Only thing is, you have to be careful while watering the plant, because during summers regularly you have to water it. So if the temperature is high in your place, make sure that you're watering the plant regularly, and keep the environment very humid. If the place has got less humidity, use a humidity tray. As I've told you, if the humidity is less, if your place is slightly towards a drier side, you can use a humidity tray. That is just take a big tray, fill it with water, put a lot of pebbles on it and put this pot on top of the tray. So the water doesn't touch the pot basically, but the humidity around that place increases. So that is a humidity tray. You can try doing that if you're living in a very dry zone. Otherwise, philodendrons are very easy to take care plant. It is not a very fussy plant. Only thing is humidity and moisture. You just have to take care of that. And any kind of fertilizer, I've told you this, that NPK fertilizers is good enough, but if you have NPK fertilizers with micro and macronutrients, that will be ideal. That will be the best fertilizer, best chemical fertilizer for your plant. The other most important thing is when do you repot it. So philodendrons, for instance, this particular plant, I'll repot only when the plant grows and reaches this pole, the top of this pole. So when the plant reach here, that is when I will think of repotting it. Till the time this pot, this is a big pot. It's a pot with 12 inch in diameter. So this pot is good enough for these 2-3 cuttings to grow till this size. It takes around 1 year for this plant to reach here. 10 months to 1 year time, this plant will reach. As I told you, this is a very rapid climber and it climbs quite fast. So once it reach here, that is when I cut this plant and I repot it. But in case of plants like these, where I have not kept any support system, what I do is either this plant droops down totally and the pot starts tilting. That is when I cut the plant. Or the other time that you can think of repotting is when your plant is root bound, because philodendrons has got a lot of strong roots. So when it becomes root bound, that is when you can think of repotting your philodendrons. So here we have a philodendron that is grown on a pot. It is grown from some shoot. So I'm planning to cut this here and I'll show you how we can repot this. So I'm cutting it here on where it is grown. I'm just cutting it there. So that is. So that is a cutting, and in this cutting you can see these roots. There are 3-4 roots here. See, 3-4 roots, and this much of root is good enough for this plant to survive. So this is how you cut a philodendron and you propagate it. This philodendron here is a tree philodendron. It's a beautiful foliage, the lush green color, and it grows quite fast. It grows, the leaves become quite big. And when you see these philodendrons, the beauty of this plant lies on these beautiful leaves. When you keep this plant at home, people like us who lives in an urban or in a town or in a place where you have a lot of pollen, the one problem that we all face with any foliage is that these leaves becomes very dirty, very dull. So how do you keep these leaves beautiful, clean and shiny is that you have to wash these leaves. When you water it, use a clean water. If you are using tap water and the water has got a lot of chemicals, use any distilled water. Just clean the plant thoroughly first, clean all the leaves, just splash water on the leaves, then clean it, and then what you can do is, you can take a cup of water, half liter to 1 liter of water, add 1 or 2 drops or 1 teaspoon of olive oil or coconut oil to that water, mix it nicely and dip your cloth, a piece of cloth in that, squeeze the cloth nicely and then wipe all your leaves. That will give these plants a good shine. The leaves will shine. As you can see, all these leaves are shining because they've been cleaned thoroughly in the same manner that I just told you. Just wipe all these leaves clean, and this will moist the plant. The leaves will get good amount of moisture as well. So this is a good thing that you can do if you're bringing your plant indoors. You can do that. Make sure that your leaves are clean before you bring the plant indoors. So that is about cleaning these plants. And I think that's about philodendrons. I hope this video was useful to you. You got your doubts regarding philodendrons are all cleared. If there is anything else that you want to know, please put it in the comment box. I will answer your queries. If I can have green fingers, you can have them too. Plant something today and prove me right. Bye-bye. See you in the next video.